Hello everybody and welcome to our webinar dedicated to European companies and institutions interested in implementing nanotechnologies with the support of the OASIS project. I am Ramona and I'm responsible for investor activities at BlueMorpho, and I'm your host for today's web meeting. BlueMorpho is industrial disruption partner of leading companies, and we focus on delivering disruption from technologies to new business models in designing new ecosystems for open innovation. Within OASIS, BlueMorpho is responsible for the business coaching to supported companies and also the access to private investment opportunities. I'm very happy to have with me today 3 speakers. First of all, Sonia, she is OASIS project coordinator, and she will give you a broad overview of the project itself and the different activities and how you can benefit from the OASIS project. And second, we have Roman. He is program manager for advanced manufacturing at Amiris, and he is probably the most important person for you today because he is the one, he is like the main contact person for you when it comes to the open call and your application. And then we also have with us Matthias. He is a research engineer at Ford, based in Germany. And he will introduce you how and why Ford is participating in the OASIS project and which technologies and processes they are using in OASIS and how they benefit from this. Before I hand over to Sonia for the project introduction, I have a few organizational things for you. So first of all, as you have noticed, we are recording this webinar. So afterwards, you will have access to the video, but also to the slides we are sharing today on the project website. Give us a few days and then we will inform you that everything is stored there. And as you see in the interface, there's a question box. So every time during the webinar that a question occurs on your side, please directly note it down. And at the end of this webinar, we have a dedicated session to answer all your questions. So, but as this webinar is not only about us presenting, I also have a few tiny questions for you as our participants today. And now I would like to launch the first question. It's very easy to answer. And you should see it now on the screen. So, what type of organization are you part of? I leave you a few minutes to a few seconds to answer. Yeah, there are still 16% missing. Okay, so I close the poll in 3, 2, and now. So the majority of our participants are SMEs with 40%, followed by research organizations with 30%. And I'm happy to see that we also have a lot of cluster organizations with us. So now it's my pleasure to hand over to Sonia, who will explain you what the OASIS project is about. So now you have the control and can share your screen, Sonia. And I don't hear you. Maybe you're still muted.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much, Ramona, for your kind introduction. My name is Sonia Flores, and I am the project coordinator of OASIS. I will, just in case the sound is not very well, I will cut off my camera and I will speak and I will share my window with you. Can you see? I hope you see my screen.
Yes, we do.
Thank you, Ramona. Okay, so I would like to welcome all you to the OASIS universe. OASIS is a European project founded by the NMPP call in 2018. And as you can see on the screen, OASIS is the title for our project is the open access single entry point for a scale up of innovative, smart, lightweight composite materials and components. This project started January 2019, and now at month 18, we would like you to present what the project aims are and the open call we are launching today with this webinar. Well, the open call was launched last week, but today we are presenting the purpose of this open call. Well, first of all, the European regulation with respect to CO2 emission is becoming more and more stringent. Sectors such as transport, energy, or construction are demanding lightweight and high-performance materials. Dense metals are being replaced by lighter metals or by polymer composites. But there is a problem here, because composites and lighter metals individually, they do show insufficient properties, so do not meet all requirements for mechanical, electrical, and thermal abilities. Moreover, nanotechnology cannot easily be introduced into composite and metallic supply. There is a lack of industrial scale manufacturing of nano-enabled products. Nanotechnologies are not available in sufficient quantities that are currently produced for the high demanding industries. This is also associated to the high cost of intermediate nano-enabled products, especially for SMEs and small companies. Of course, for each application and its each company want to develop, tailored solution has to be defined and developed. So nanotechnologies and all the materials that are introduced in a final application do have to show different chemical content, different production processes, that this makes quite difficult to introduce multifunctionality in composites, in composite and metallic parts. So this problem of introducing multifunctionality in different parts to the sectors to overcome the properties that composites and lighter metals do not show, can be solved by the combination on nanotechnologies with other key enabled technologies such as advanced materials and advanced manufacturing. In this way, this combination can lead to lighter and multifunctional structures. But companies, when facing these new technologies, for the introduction of nanotechnologies in metallic and polymer composites in today's industrialized systems as part of advanced materials and advanced manufacturing processes, find different bottlenecks to access new technologies prior to the implementation of of the manufacturing processes. These bottlenecks are like there is a need for specialized expertise. The investments to integrate nanotechnologies into their industrialized systems costs are too high. Also, novel techniques sometimes are not a priority for small or large enterprises. In some cases, RTOs do not offer facilities and services covering the full value chain. And also the development of new products may require access to finance and optimize business plans that have to, in order to get to a final implementation of a new functionality in a new product. So the solution to this problem is found in the OASIS ecosystem. The OASIS project is a open innovation innovation testbed is a ecosystem that aims to develop and organize a sustainable open innovation testbed. This open innovation testbed aims at a scale up of smart, lightweight aluminium and polymer-based composites, compounds and products to which companies, and more precisely SMEs, more precisely you that are now listening to this webinar, can gain access through a single entry point. This single entry point will allow these clients to develop, test, and adopt new lightweight, high-performance, multifunctional, safe and environmentally friendly, high-value materials, components, and structures in a cost-effective and sustainable way. So under the umbrella of OASIS, OASIS would like to, all the facilities and services inside OASIS would like to become a partner for your development if you are looking for lightweight, multifunctional, composite or metallic parts. The ecosystem and the facility and the network of facilities of OASIS is organized in different pilot lines. These pilot lines are situated in 7 countries across Europe, and these pilot lines, which are 12, are gathered in three main global purpose pilot lines. OASIS is developing pilot lines for nanoscale structures in unprocessed form with intrinsic functionalities like aerogels or nanoparticle synthesizes by wet chemical routes or magnetics and flame retardant nanoparticles and nanocomposites. Also in OASIS, 5 pilot lines are devoted to the production of intermediate products with nanoscale features, bucky papers, CNT-treated thermoplastic veils, carbon nanotubes treated pre-breaks, sheet-to-sheet smart printed sensors and actuators, and nano-reinforced metallic alloy ingots. And the third pillar of pilot lines that are being developed under the OASIS framework are those pilot lines related to nano-enabled products. Nano-enabled injected cast parts, RTM polymer-based composites, nano-enabled aluminium composite hybrid products, and nano-enabled butyrate. These 12 pilot lines are inside the umbrella of the OASIS project. But within OASIS project, not only these pilot lines are being developed. These pilot lines are being upgraded and upscaled with different associated services to become a full package offer to the clients that may come to the OASIS framework through the single entry point. So a client, a potential partner comes to OASIS, knocks on our door, and always looking for light and multifunctional structures. So this client access to a network of facilities and services. The client will find an ecosystem of 12 pilot lines operating under a single, a sustainable manufacturing framework that aims at ensuring a competitive, quality, safe, and environmental friendly production of nano-enabled products. Secondly, the client will find technical services going from primary concept to final qualification of the product, including material selection, manufacturing processes, product and process design, modeling, characterization, and also specific services related to nanotechnology, such as sustainable manufacturing diagnosis, environmental and nanosafety, safe design and process and approaches, and also life cycle analysis. And as a third approximation, also the client, you will find some business support services to understand market needs and accelerate market commercialization of the product developed. When this client leaves the OASIS OITB, or this OASIS Open Innovation Testbed, this client is leaving with a solution. This client, we hope, the client feels he got more than expected. He got with a feeling that the whole development chain was covered, the structure developed is a business opportunity, can be commercially exploitable, and potential investors have been identified. The most important thing is that you feel comfortable and you come back to us more time. One of the strengths of the project in the group is a group of 6 global leaders. After at the end of the presentations, Matthias from Thales will explain what the activities in OASIS is. But one of the strengths of this project is the group of 6 global leaders representing high impact sectors: mobility and transportation, construction, packaging, and energy. These global leaders will implement in real cases the materials and components developed through the 12 pilot lines and associated services. These companies are working on 6 showcases, are clients of the Open Innovation Testbeds, and are knocking on the OASIS single entry point with the aim to develop a light and multifunctional structure. The showcases target specifications that will be reached by one of 2 or 3 or a combination of different pilot lines in terms of products. Of course, specific services will be defined and developed for each of the 6 showcases. Several key performance indicators for the Open Innovation Testbed have been identified and will be validated through the development of the showcases. So the success in reaching showcase specifications, in fulfilling the KPI for the Open Innovation Testbed, in receiving a positive impact from the companies, will be an indicator for the pilot lines offering the right product and offering the associated services. So now I can say that the OASIS CEP single entry point is ready. The Open Innovation Testbed now will be open to the industry, to the open call we are presenting you today, to foster innovation in key industrial sector and support the development and market uptakes of key enabled technologies. Companies will develop Democases, will access specific services to develop multifunctional nano-enabled products. So the aim, and I give the word to my colleague Roman, is that companies like SMEs, industries, individuals, academia, RTOs come to the OASIS universe and with an application, a development looking for multifunctional materials, and they, together with our pilot lines, our services, our team, develop a demo case, a specific demonstrator. The client will have access to specific services, always with the aim to develop multifunctional nano-enabled products. So to give you more information about the open call and how the open call has been organized, I now pass the word through my colleague Roman.
Thank you, Sonia. Before we continue, with Roman, I have 2 other questions for our audience. But first, the kind reminder: if there are questions in your mind, please directly write them in the question box so they don't get lost. And so Sonia has explained you the different pilot lines. You have learned about the term showcases, and you have also already heard about services that are offered in OASIS. So to use the momentum, I have the question for you: which technical services raise your interest? By the way, you can click on multiple services. So the first one is the pilot line products on nanomaterials, nano-intermediates, and nano products. People are still voting, so I continue for some more seconds. Okay. I close in 3. Come on. I close in 3, 2, 1. Okay. So just to show the result with all of you, also with Sonia and Roman, I think it's a very interesting feedback we have from the participants. And the same question or a similar question I have for you is on the business services that are offered in OASIS. So you do not only get the technical services, you also get support on the business side and the coaching, especially from Blumofo. We support you in accessing private and public funding opportunities, but the consortium, especially Amiras, also supports you in the dissemination and marketing. So okay. So I close in 3, 2. Okay. So I share it again with everybody. This is a very interesting result, and I will take it with me. So we at Blumofo will be prepared for it. Okay, and this is the time now to hand over to Roman. So now it's your turn.
Okay, thank you, Ramona, for giving me the floor, and also thanks to Sonia for the very nice introduction. So let me just share my screen here with the presentation. Right. So I'm going to briefly describe how the open call within OASIS actually works on a few slides. So first of all, the what, let's say, what are we talking about when we talk about the OASIS open call has been to some extent already, let's say, explained by Sonia. I think that I don't have to go through it again, but there is an important thing to mention, and that is that what we call demo cases, so the cases that will go to us through this open call and which will be conducted by you, they are expected to end up in novel products in parts or component demonstrators. So actual tangible demonstrators in the end, and also should be associated with an exploitation plan, because what we really want to support are ideas that are ready for early market adoption. So what timeline are we speaking about? The call has been opened since 29th of June and will be opened till the end of July next year. So we basically now have a year when this call will be opened. You can apply at any time, and there will be 2 cutoff dates during the upcoming year. So the first one is on the 31st of January, and the other one is by the end of the call itself, so 31st of July. So you can apply at any time before a cutoff date, and when that comes, all the applications that have come up to that moment will be collected, evaluated, and the winners, let's say, will be selected from those. At the end of my presentation, I will also show you the system within which you will be submitting your proposals. However, an important thing to note is that you can work on your proposals in the system itself up until the cutoff date at any time, however you want. You can save it, go back to it later, and so on. But once you click on the submit button, that's final. You won't be able to change the proposal after that point. So who can apply? Who is eligible? We've tried to make this as open as possible, so there is basically no limitation whatsoever with regards to the type of organizations, the size of them, or their field of activity. There is one important notice though, and that is that our plan, our aim is to mostly focus on small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, which will be prioritized in the selection, meaning that at least 50% of the demo cases that we'll be choosing through this open call will be ones submitted by SMEs. Which means that in reality, they might, some, let's say, proposals submitted by SMEs might have higher ranking in the end than proposals submitted by other types of organizations who have scored more points in the evaluation. So why should you apply? Again, this was the offer of the services was explained by Sonia. I would only add that this is a really, let's say, customized or individual approach that OASIS has, and each case will be really tailor-made to the needs of the applicants, of you. So it will be a combination of technical and business services according to your needs. Now, it is important to note that the services are free of charge within this open call, of course. So the main contribution you can expect from the consortium itself is the provision of qualified human resources, let's say, operating the pilot lines and the associated services, but also consumables and materials which are required for the demonstrator. That is going to be the end result of the demo case, and you will also get access to expensive, top-notch equipment and infrastructure of the pilot lines. So here's a slide with how the process will actually look like. So at the beginning, you can see the two cutoff dates I mentioned. So after those are over, there is 1 week for a first check of the proposal. So whether they, let's say, fulfill all the formal requirements and so on. After which this is, let's say, the first filter. Afterwards, there will be 4 weeks for actual evaluation. So each proposal will be evaluated by 2 people focusing on technical and 2 people focusing on business aspects of the proposals. So both of these have, let's say, the same weight in the evaluation in the end. The maximum score is 15 points. There are 3 different criteria, which is the concept, the implementation, and impact, which all of them have a threshold of 3 points, and the overall threshold is 10 points. So after the projects, the applications, proposals go through this evaluation, there is the next step when the evaluation panel of the project will convene and look at, let's say, the portfolio level of the proposals that we'll be getting. Because as I already mentioned before, there are also other considerations that will need to be taken into account when making the final ranking. So also the, let's say, prioritization of SMEs. But apart from that, we'll be also looking at the kind of services that the applicants are asking for, how many from which service providers, and whether what is the mix of the available capacities that we have within the consortium to execute the demo cases. And these factors might affect the overall ranking, the final ranking of the proposals. But after the assessment of the evaluation panel, all of the applicants will get, let's say, the results. So this whole process from cutoff date till the selection, when you'll get to know the result, should take approximately 6 weeks. Afterwards, there will be another 6 weeks for the, let's say, assignment process. So by assignment, I mean assigning your case to a service delivery manager who will elaborate the service delivery plan with you. And that is basically the customized set of services and, let's say, the overall project plan which you'll be executing within the demo case. And it is expected that these cases will kick off at the end of April and at the end of October, respectively, depending on the cutoff dates. So if you're interested in what should you do now? So the first step would be to check out the website, obviously. The other step is to browse through the catalog of services which we have prepared, which is available publicly on the website, to see which services match your needs the best. Then you should read the application guidelines to understand what is expected of you in the proposals, and then register through the submission software, fill in the required data, including a preliminary choice of services you are interested in, download the application form from within the software, where you will fill out the proposal itself in a maximum of 5 pages, save it as a PDF file, upload it back, and submit. We've tried to keep it as simple as possible, but of course we understand that you might encounter some issues, or you have questions. For that, we have established a help desk. You can see the email address here, or also the phone number, which you can call in the business hours, so from Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. An important thing to say is that we strongly encourage all applicants to check with us before they submit their proposals, to check with us the technical and business feasibility of the ideas. Because, as I said, once you submit, you cannot really change the proposal anymore. So it is important to know what is actually possible for you. So with that, I will end my presentation and just briefly show you how the system actually looks like. I know I've already talked for some 10 minutes, so it should be over soon. So this is how it looks like. This is the registration module. So you just enter basic information like the name of the institution, company registration number, if you're a company, of course, date of registration, size in terms of the number of employees, turnover. Then there is a drop-down menu when you enter the type of organization you are, address, country of registration, and personal data. And once you are registered, you get to this module, which is the proposal itself, where after you fill in this basic data like the name and acronym of the proposal, its summary, then you make a selection of services within in here. So technical and the business services. By clicking this, you will download the application form. So the application form actually looks like this. And this is what should be 5 pages maximum. After you create a PDF document from there, you just upload it here. There you go. Save on the click on the save button, and it is saved in here. And you can go back to it at any time and submit when it is actually ready. So that's it from me. Sorry for taking a bit longer, and I'll be happy to take your questions at the end of this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Roman. So I really encourage our participants to use this opportunity for the feasibility check. And here it's really the sooner you start thinking about your project idea and the sooner you contact Roman for this feasibility check, it can be implemented. So if everybody starts contacting him in January, we might face difficulties. But now that you have heard about the pilot lines, the showcases, and the call for Democases, we will now go to Matthias from Ford, who will explain what Ford is doing with the pilot lines in OASIS. And therefore, let me make you a presenter. Now you should be able to share. Perfect.
So, yeah, here's Matthias Sargentin. I'm from Ford Motor Company in Europe. I do work in the research and development department with respect to materials. We are part of OASIS project team, and I'm a leader of a showcase. This showcase is called Structural Nano-Reinforced Aluminium Castings. So I'm from automotive industry, and we are looking for lightweight body structural parts. Here you can see an example of such a structural part. It is a so-called shock tower, and it's an enabler for lightweight design. And it's, let's say, state-of-the-art for high high cost-intensive cars like Daimler-Benz, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, etc. But now it's a different time, so everybody's going for electrification. And as other OEMs as well, we from Ford will introduce a lot of new vehicles with electrified powertrains, beginning from a mild hybrid, plug-in hybrids, or even fully battery vehicles. All these vehicles does require aluminium castings in the field of housings, battery trays, or even also further structural lightweight parts. As I said, the big motivation for us to go for such part is lightweight design, and therefore to reduce the CO2 emissions. One of the bottlenecks of these technologies is that they are quite expensive, especially for a high volume producer like we from Ford are. So if we talk about introducing materials and parts, in this case casting, we talk about few millions of parts per year instead of a couple of thousand. So it's a very different approach to other partners within the OASIS project team. So here we have a mass production. And mass production means there's a high focus on costs, and all these aluminium alloys and casting are quite borderline in terms of cost. So one focus is to reduce the costs. This we can utilize with high strength alloys. This allows us to reduce the weight. And the second aspect is to reduce the cost of the manufacturing process. In this case, casting, one philosophy is to increase the lifetime of the tools. As I said, in this project, we have identified structural casting. Here you can see a seat cross member. This is beneath the seat of the vehicle, and we've identified this part as a demonstrator part to produce nano-reinforced materials. On the right-hand side, you can see a short video. So a critical forces for such kinds of parts are the crash condition, in this case a side crash impact. This means the material needs to have a high elongation, especially at high accelerations. Okay, what we are doing within this showcase. So we have mainly three single steps, three so-called pilot lines. On the one hand side is the development of a nano-reinforced alloys. I have to say these alloys are available, so you can produce it on a lab scale. You can buy it, you can go to university or to our partners, but the bottleneck is to utilize for high volume production, and therefore we have developed a pilot line to produce so-called aluminium ingots. So ingots, these are special bars out of aluminium, which foundries use for casting their materials. The second pilot plant is a technology to put a coating on the tool in order to increase the lifetime of the tool. And last but not least, we have developed with partners a so-called bionic inspired design. This is a CAE method, which enables to make designs feasible in terms of casting, and to have or to copy and paste, to say it simple, what is the nature is doing. You can see a picture on top, a facility Technalia, and also at a French partner to produce these kinds of aluminium ingots. You can see partners is on one hand side CEA, which is a French institute who is in charge of the nanoparticles. And we have the company Technalia on board. So they are in charge, on the one hand side, really to produce the ingots, to make them feasible for customers. Customers could be foundries or OEMs like Ford. And the second thing is the coating. I will show later on a bit more. And we have an institute, AWI, the Alfred Wegener Institute in Bremen. And they have developed a bionic CAE method. And here in this project, we will introduce it for the first time for automotive part. In summation, I can admit that the entire process chain is covered by the OASIS partners, beginning from the raw material, so the nanoparticles, to the production, to the process itself, until the end users like we are from Ford. So here you can see a picture of this nano-reinforced alloy to increase the mechanical properties. The big advantage of such kinds of alloys is they do not require heat treatment. So our conventional structural casting I've shown at the beginning of the vehicle, they usually have a T7 or a T5 heat treatment process, and this ends up with high costs per part. So you need to heat it up, do solution treatment, you have to quench it, etc. So it's quite expensive. So it's more clever to have a material which does not require any heat treatment. And such a candidate could be the nanomaterial in future, which will be provided by CAE and nanoparticles, and at the end by Technalia of the ingots. As I mentioned, here you can see technology by Technalia. On the bottom right, you can see a high pressure recasting tool. Such kind of tool are used for high volume production of aluminium parts. And a tool, let's say, has a lifetime of 120,000 so-called shots. So you can use this tool 100,000 times. And then you have to replace the tool. And this is quite expensive. And the idea behind this coating is put a coating on the tool, this nano coating, and increase the lifetime from, let's say, 100,000 shots to 150,000 shots. It's really a big impact, as one of these tools costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. So here you can see a picture of the CAE approach. So we've started with white sheet of paper, let's say, and we gave the Alfred Wegener Institute in Bremen our boundary conditions, so a load case, some geometry boundary conditions, and they started to develop such a seed cross member with several iterations. We end up with the first design draft, which looks quite okay. It fulfills the criteria in terms of strength, but for sure it has to be optimized in order to get it feasible for the casting process. On this we have done as a team, so a team from AWI, from Ford, and also from Technalia, who will produce the parts. So we came from original part, this is a sheet metal, and we have a simple design. Then we have some ribs beneath the part, but these ribs are not feasible to cast. And some iterations, and we came up with an ideal geometry, let's say. And what we're doing next is to go for demonstrator parts of this geometry. What is planned with these kinds of demonstrator part? Okay, material characterization, but we are also doing crash tests virtually, and I think we will also perform a real crash test with a seed cross member, and it's called a pole impact test, and the part has to withstand this heavy scenario. Here's a picture of the part itself, so it should fit into the vehicle as well as allow us to generate specimen out of it. So this is a first story after 1 year of this OASIS project. And the very good thing here on these different pilot plants is that we have the entire process chain here on board, from a raw material design, so CAE guys, manufacturing, and the end customer. And the end customers are ourselves from Ford, but it could also be other end customers from different industries or even other automotive manufacturers. So this is also a very short overview about one concrete showcase from the automotive industry, and feel free to ask questions.
So thank you very much, Matthias. I think that your showcase gave a very good impression and supported the understanding of our participants on how you can combine different technologies within OASIS. We are coming to more and more to an end. So before I summarize everything, I have 2 more questions for the audience. So now that Sonia has explained you the project itself and what the project is doing with these pilot lines, what services are offered, and that Roman has explained you the open call for Democases, and you got an impression on what you could do. So who is considering applying? Okay, people are heavily voting. I'll give you 5 more seconds. Okay, and now I will close the poll. So it's 90% who plan to apply. And so among yeah, Sonia. Okay. And last question from my side. So who would like to use the feasibility check for the project idea before submitting? I guess we will have a similar result here. Okay, so I'm closing now with 95% yes. So, give me a moment to get my screen back. So, okay, perfect. So now let me tell you what's next. So today we have just introduced you one of the 6 showcases. So in September and November, we will have in total 2 additional webinars where the other showcases will participate. So you can learn what's also possible in the field of building or aerospace. And we have another automotive example from VDL. So of course we will inform you about these webinars. So don't worry, you will not miss it. And despite these webinars, when it comes to the open call for the so-called Democases. So the first cutoff, as Roman introduced, is end of January. And this is for Democases starting in May. And the second deadline will be end of July for Democases starting in November next year. So with this information, we would have officially reached the end of our presentation. And now it's time to come back to your questions. So take the next minutes to write down everything you want to know from us. This is really your moment to ask your questions to Sonia, Roman, and Matthias. And to provide you a bit more insights, I have prepared something that you can totally find like this on the website. So there's no need to make notes. I just copy pasted it for the website, and while we answer your questions, you see here the OASIS catalog of services. So you get a better understanding of the detailed services you can access within the OASIS project. So now give me a moment to check a bit the questions. Okay. Most of the reference materials seem to focus on physical structures. But I thought the project would also support food companies. Who wants to answer this question?
Sorry, Ramona, can you place it again? Say it again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the question is that a participant thought the project support would be about food, but now we were just referring to materials in terms of physical structures.
Food?
Yes, I'm also a bit surprised.
Well, the project intends to introduce nanotechnology to get multifunctional lightweight structures based on polymers and metal, answering to industries' needs such as construction, mobility, transportation, energy, sports, goods, not food. I don't know why this.
No, me neither. But in general, just to link this question, so there's no focus in application areas, right? As long as these services clearly match the project idea. Who wants to answer?
Well, yes,
Sorry,
that's correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay, another question. For the application part, can it be a group of, for example, companies, SMEs applying, or does it have to be single companies applying?
I guess that that should be one principal company that is that is applying, or one institution which it is linked to. But of course, within the proposal itself, it can say that it is actually a combination of more more companies at once. But that there needs to be one liable institutions, because of course the demo case itself will be also, let's say, covered by a contractual agreement which someone needs to sign. So yeah, that would be my answer.
Okay, next question. Is the OASIS project addressing the integration of nanotechnologies into natural textiles as well, for example, wool, or is it limited only for aluminium and polymers?
Well, I guess it will depend on the functionality this application is asking. It's asking to have at the end. If the functionality can be achieved by any of the products being developed in any of the 12 pilot lines, and is in line with the developments and associated services, then maybe we can see if there is room for this development. But always looking for lightweighting with the services offered under the umbrella of OASIS.
Okay, then here we have an interesting question from Marco. We offer innovative and non-destructive systems and services for lightweight products. And how could we contribute to the 12 existing pilot lines? I think it's more how the pilot lines could contribute to your lightweight products. Does anybody want to add something?
Well, I would like, sorry, Ramona, I would like to add something on the previous question concerning textiles. The project is for polymer and metal lightweight structures. Textiles, as far as I know, are organic materials, and somehow are based on polymeric materials. So, as I said, it's a question to see the purpose, the objectives, and the final functionality being looked for this application.
What if a potential demo case applies to several industry domains for the same application? I would think there is no problem, right?
Absolutely, no.
Is there also a focus on environmentally friendly processes?
Yes. Environmentally friendly processes? Yes.
Because of the sustainable manufacturing framework?
Yeah. The pilot lines operate under a sustainable manufacturing framework in terms of quality, quality safe, competitive, and of course, environmentally friendly scenario. And also, if the applicant or the demo case developer is interested in developing getting services from the sustainable manufacturing diagnosis, environmental and nanosafety, also life cycle analyzing concerns in recycling, this application is also welcome.
Okay, then I have a question for Roman here. Is it okay to just use one service, or do I have to use several services?
No, it's, sorry, Roman, maybe you want to answer? You appeared on the screen suddenly.
Yeah, well, Ramona told me to answer this question, so I'm listening to her. The point of the open call and of the demo cases is basically to test how the OASIS single entry point is operational, and the part of the validation of this is that the demo cases will use a combination of services from the different service providers, because that's actually the point of even creating this whole ecosystem. So there is a condition or a requirement that the applicants choose at least 2 technical and 1 business service. Of course, this is just a preliminary indication, and in the end, if the application is successful, it will go through the process of creating the service delivery plan with the consortium, and there the combination of the services will be finalized and might be a bit different from the initial indication. But yes, the idea is to combine multiple services.
Okay, so as we are already over time, the last question from the, where is it now? Oh yeah, okay. So the last question is, when I start the demo case in March, how long will I work together with the research organization?
So the maximum duration of a demo case is 6 months. So again, it depends on the actual service delivery plan, which will be created after you have been chosen. But the maximum duration is 6 months.
Okay, thank you. We have a few questions open that we would answer individually afterwards. Don't want to run too much over time here. I think this is my Germanness. So yeah, thank you everybody for attending today's webinar, and we will inform you as soon as the recording and the slides are available on the project website. So also, thanks a lot to the speakers. And
Thank
yeah,
you very much, Ramona.
have a great summer, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for attending. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.